Hi everyone and welcome to your class today. Today is a prenatal workout, so a pregnancy Pilates workout. It will accommodate any level of pregnancy, so you can be anywhere from your 4th or 5th week all the way up into your 39th week. If you do have any complications or things you're unsure about whether you should be doing this workout today, it is best to check in with your primary health care provider before doing the class. We do need a couple of props today, so I've got a couple of little 1 kg weights, but if you don't have any weights at home, just grab a couple of tins out of the cupboard. They don't have to be 1 kg, even half a kg will feel like it's enough. We also do need something to balance with, so I've actually got our high chair here, but you can use the back of a chair or the edge of your bench or the back of your couch, whatever works, where you can just have a little bit of balance so you can just hold on to this back edge. So find something at home that will be suitable for that. I'll just give you a couple of minutes to grab that and then we'll get started with our workout today. So once you have found your piece of equipment, we are going to do a little bit of footwork, leg work, using the equipment, or in non-Pilates terms, we're doing a few squats and things. So we're actually going to start off with our feet hip width apart, nice and square. Find those tripods on your feet, so your equal weight between big toe, outside of the foot and the very center of the heel, and then just think about where your posture is. It's quite nice to place one hand just at the front here between your belly button and pubic bone, and then one hand at the back on your sacrum, and just make sure that you're not coming into too much of an arched posture here, but you've got that lovely length through the low back. Obviously your tummy might feel a little bit different, it might be a little bit further out, but we just want to make sure we're not being dragged into this extension of your low back. So have a little bit of a check of that, and then with your arms out in front of you, so if you need to adjust yourself further forward or further back, you can from here. Hands are reaching out, and we're going to come back into a squat position. Now when we get to our squat, again, make sure that you're not letting your tummy drag down, but you're keeping the length in the low back by staying connected here. And then we stand up. We come down and up. So ideally, if you can come down to about 90 degrees, that's great. But the bigger your bump, the more you might feel restricted with this movement. You might not feel as if you can come down too far. Our head wants to be looking in front of us the whole way through. And feel that your knees aren't going forward over your toes, but your pelvis is sitting back behind you. So one more here. And then we're going to keep our balls of our feet where they are, but just bring your heels together. So you're in a little Pilates V position. Again, feel that idea that you've lengthened here. You've wrapped a little more into the glutes now, so you'll feel a little bit more connected there as you come down. Now, little V, you will feel a little bit more restricted in how low you can go. So don't be surprised if you're feeling like you can't quite get as low as you were before. And definitely start to feel how your heart rate is getting up a little bit more now. We are going to do one more. Beautiful. And then let's take our feet a little wider, still on a turnout, just a little bit wider. And we're doing the same movement here. Now this one here, you will feel like you can get a little bit wider and a little bit lower down into your squat. So you want to feel that as you get to the bottom, let's pause all for a moment, really check we're staying connected here, lengthened here, and then come back up. So tummy stays connected as we go down and up. And last one here. Beautiful. And heel toe your feet back into hip width apart, nice and square. And we're going to do some little rises. So heels are lifting up off the floor. And if you do feel like you're capable of no hands on your piece of equipment in front of you, then you can take the hands off and just start to feel the rise up and down. Really make sure your ankles are square. So take a look down at your ankles and feel that they're not splaying out to the sides, but they're nice and parallel, especially on the way up. That's when you'll feel that they might collapse out a little bit. Okay, you might need the chair for the next one. We're going to find one squat, rise, lower, and back up. We squat down, lift, lower, and up. Keep that tummy connected. And obviously you can do this without holding on. You would come down, lift, lower, and back up, keeping the tummy connected. Last one here. Beautiful. Okay, so we should feel nice and warm. And when we've got our heart rate up a little bit, we're just going to pop our chairs off to the side from here. So if you can pop your chair away and grab onto your weights and come into a kneeling position. So with your kneeling, we're going to start with your feet and knees about hip width apart, so the knees aren't together in the center. And then what we're going to do is come up into high kneeling, tuck our toes under. Beautiful. Think a little bit about where your pelvis is seated, so we're not, again, letting that low back come into too much extension. Arms down by your sides with your weights, palms are facing in. Now you're going to sit your pelvis about halfway down, so not all the way down, just halfway, and then come back up. And halfway down, and back up. Feel your quads working on the way down, but concentrate on how your glutes and hamstrings, or the back chain of the body, work to lift you back up. So just halfway. It's really easy to go all the way down and just get that little break at the bottom, but we do want to avoid that. Okay, we'll bring the hands into it now. So as you come up, your arms are going to come up, and as you come halfway down, the hands come back. So we're going back and forward, back and forward. Great. Let's do two more here. And then on the next one, we'll stay here. We're going to keep the toes tucked under where they are and soften through the elbows and go into some hug a tree. So you breathe in as your arms go out to the sides and breathe out as you wrap your arms around that big tree trunk in front of your chest. So as the arms widen, it's a breath in and then breath out to bring them back in. Feel your shoulder blades just wrap and connect into your spine as you open, but also feel that your rib cage doesn't pop forward. So we keep the ribs nicely connected at the front as the arms open. We're doing two more here. Last one. And then bringing the hands back down. We're going to lower our chest forward and sit your bum back. Nice straight arms, and arms are right beside the hips there. We bend and extend. So we're going into a little tricep movement here. So as you extend your arms, think about how your triceps get you to there. And try to aim for that full extension. Really feel that beautiful length all the way out to extension. On the next one, we're going to extend, pulse, 1, 2, 3, then bend. Extend, pulse, 2, 3, and bend. So that pulse just gets those triceps working a little bit more. 1 to go. And then up into high kneeling. Okay, this time palms are facing back. We're going to go into chest expansion. So what you're going to do for this one is take your arms out in front, and as your hands come back, they reach just past your thighs. We widen our collarbones, turn our neck to look over the left shoulder, the right shoulder, back to the center, and arms go back up. This time, go right first, left second, forward, release. Again, as your hands come back, try not to let your rib cage pop open at the front, but keep the connection with ribs and pelvis. Beautiful. On the next one, we come back and hold. Head is looking forward, and we're going to go into some hundreds arms pulses. So our arms just pulse forward and back here. Nice little short, sharp pulses. And we want to keep the torso nice and stable. So you're not letting yourself move around with this movement. The only thing that moves is your arms. So you should feel your hamstrings, glutes, quads, and abdominals all working to keep you stable. We're going to do 10 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good work. Just untuck your toes, sit your bum back to your heels, and just pop your weights out to the side. Keep your feet together, bring your knees nice and wide, and have your big toes touching each other at the back here. So feet are going to stay untucked for this one. And what we're going to do is take our arms out in front. Let's have the palms facing one another. And what you're going to do is come up into high kneeling and halfway back. So similar to the last exercise we did, but we're just in that little bit of a turnout. We've got the glutes really wrapping around at the back. But remember, it's still only halfway back, just to avoid that little rest at the end. Now on your next one, as you come forward, we add rotation. So you come forward, rotate that left arm open, center, halfway back. Forward, right arm rotates, center, halfway back. Beautiful. And start to feel that movement flowing a little bit more as you go. Great. We want to feel that as we go forward, the hips are lovely and open to the front. And the pelvis stays still, but we're keeping that rotational movement coming from your chest, rib cage, and head. One more to each side, or until you feel nice and even. And then down. Good work. We're going to come onto all fours next. So onto your hands and knees. Your hands are underneath shoulders, knees are underneath hips. If you've got any wrist issues, you can bring your hands slightly further forward. Sometimes that feels a little bit better. Or come up onto your knuckles, if you like. So from our 4-point kneeling position, we are going to do some little side bending. So on your breath out, you're going to look over your left shoulder and bring your left hip around to that side. Then you come back to the center and you look over your right shoulder and the right hip comes across. So your whole spine is making a little C-shaped curve as you go from one side to the other. And can we do one more to each side from here? And then from here, we're going to stay in the center and we're going to do some little pelvic movements. So you're going to just start with your flexion extension, or what we call an anterior and posterior tilt of the pelvis. Really feel your sit bones lead the movement. They're the two little bony pits on your bum right at the back here. So they go down to the backs of the knees here, and then they almost want to feel like they're reaching up to the ceiling here. Now remember, the pelvis is doing all the movement here, so really lead with the pelvis. And then we're going to bring a little bit of side to side movement to it. So you'll find your extension, go to one side, find your flexion, go to the other side. So it's like you're just doing a little circle as you flex and extend. Good work. And just kind of let it flow. It can get a little bit confusing if we think about it too much. So just let your body go with the movement and then change direction. Now, one direction can feel a little bit different to the other. So one will feel a little bit more natural. The other might take just a little bit of concentration. Great. We're doing 2 more circles and then back to the center. So the beauty of that movement is as well that you can get a little bit of either connection or link through the pelvic floor, whatever your body needs. So it can be a nice little movement pattern to really get into the pelvic floor. With our next exercise, if you feel a little bit too much pain through either your sacrum or the back here, any SIJ pain or pubic pain at the front, you'll keep your your knees on the floor. So we'll start off with the easier variation, which I would recommend you stick to. So you're going to go into a little bit of opposite arm and leg extension. So one arm goes out, opposite leg behind you. So this just ensures that you're nice and stable and strong through your pelvis. If you want to challenge yourself, you take the arm and the leg off. So if you don't have any SIJ or pubic pain, or what we would say any pelvic instability, then you will be completely fine to come into this opposite arm and leg movement. Beautiful. We want to really connect through the front of the abdominal or the torso. So from opposite rib to hip, you feel nicely connected. We are doing 1 more on each side. Beautiful. Then we're going to pause in that position. We're going to take your hands slightly forward and go into a little tricep push-up. So with the hands slightly forward, you're going to bend your elbows towards your hips as you lower your chest between your thumbs and then push back up. So it's as if the whole body moves forward as you come into your tricep movement, and then the whole body moves back again. So we come forward and back. Now your movement might be nice and small. You might only go to there, and that's completely fine. So just find the range you are comfortable with. Lovely, and we'll do 3 more. 2 and 3. Good work. And you can come all the way back. Give your wrists a little bit of a shake out and just release them for a moment. And we're going to come into a side lying position from here. So let's lie on our right side. Rest your head down into your arm. And let's take both of your legs out nice and long. Feet are flexed. So imagine like your feet are just pressed against a wall, and they'll stay up against that wall with this movement. You can have your top hand on your hip, or you can rest it in front of you here. Now I want you to think about really lengthening open through that underside. So if you find that challenging or you're getting any discomfort, pop a cushion underneath the tummy there, and that will just give you that little bit of extra support. So from here, what we're going to do is bring this top leg up and lower it down. So it goes just above the hip on the top part of the movement, and it comes right down to the bottom. Now remember, your hand can be in front of your belly, just to give you that little bit of extra support. On your next one, you lift halfway down and back up. Beautiful. So you're feeling like it's a little bit more of a challenge. We're not giving you that little rest at the bottom of the movement with this one. Great. Then halfway down and a forward and back kick. So flex your foot to come forward, point the toes to come back. The range of movement that you go through can be as big as you like, as long as you're nice and stable through the center. So we don't want to be wobbling all over the place with this one. Beautiful. Then let's pause halfway with that toe pointed, and we're going to do little circles. With the toes pointed, you have got one to go, and then we change direction, going back the other way with your circle. And two more here. Last one, and lower. Good job. So let's come all the way up. We'll sweep the feet to the other side and lying down on this side here. Head rested down into the arm, both legs out nice and long. Choose your position for your hand in front on the hip. And remember, you can put a little cushion underneath your waist and belly if you just need that little bit more support. With the feet flexed against that imaginary wall, we drag the heel up the wall and then drag it back down. And that dragging feeling gives you that beautiful length through the top leg as you bring it up. Great. So that also allows for that beautiful length through the top side of the waist between the hip and rib. This time, go halfway down and then up. Still getting that dragging feeling. This one, a little bit more challenging, doesn't give you that rest at the bottom. You might feel your bottom glute really kicking in as well now, just to keep that nice stability, because we've already worked it. It's a bit more fatigued. It's going to get that build up of lactic acid a little bit quicker. Then halfway down, we flex to come forward, point the toe to come back. And that leg stays on the same plane of movement, forward and back. It's not going up and down. And one more here, then halfway back, toes are pointed, and we circle. As we get tired, our circles can turn into squares. Try and make sure we're keeping them smooth and circular. And change direction back the other way. This is the last one, I promise. Beautiful. And lower the leg down. Good work. Let's bend the knees forward from here. Bend your bottom elbow. Keep your head rested into your arm. And we are going to take our top arm out in front of us. Bring it up to the ceiling with your breath in, and then as you breathe out, open up through the chest. So just that beautiful rotation with a bit of a chest opener here. So arm comes up to the ceiling, and we rotate. This can be a nice chest expansion, especially if you're feeling a little bit rounded forward through the chest. We do one more here. And then we're going to come up, sweep the legs to the other side, and bend the bottom elbow. Both knees are bent, top arm is out in front. It's a breath in to bring the arm up to the ceiling, and a breath out to rotate. And again, breath into the ceiling, and breathe out to rotate open. So a nice little exercise to finish with as well, just to come back to your breath. Let your heart rate slow down a little bit, and feel that little bit of a warm down before we finish up today. So you've got one to go. And you can come upright, and you are all finished for today. So I really hope you enjoyed your prenatal Pilates class. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop a little message into the comments box in YouTube, or you can flick me an email at Nicole Carl Pilates, that's NicoleKarlPilates @gmail.com. It's nice to see you, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.